sending little waves of heat, light, and sound and information through these meridians, telling them to get unjammed. And that information goes into your brain and clears the space in your brain tissue, in your limbic imprint, where that information is stored. Tap your little finger inside of the pinky finger back to the original edge. And now we're going to do the side of the hand. We're almost done. Big breath, big sigh. Bottom edge of the hand, the same place you would karate chop something. Big breath, make some sound. Let's see if I can hear you in Austin, Texas. I can feel you. Tap the top of your head, the sides of your head, behind the ears, and the back of the head. Big, deep breath, big sigh. Okay, so those are all the points, and hopefully you're already feeling an increase in your energy. So what I wanted to tell you now is about the list of interesting side effects that some people experience while they're tapping and others don't. But in case you do, I want to give you a note now so you're not concerned. You might find yourself yawning profusely over and over, which is a sign that your nervous system is off-gassing stored stress. I just call it all off-gassing, okay? Different people do it in different ways. Some people yawn, probably about 70% of the people. Others laugh, cry, burp. I'm a burper. I used to be a weeper. You might find yourself doing none of those things or all of those things. You might find flushes of energy moving through your body. You might have sudden realizations or memories return. You might also just get information and downloads of like, okay, here's what I see. Here's where it really started. Here's what's really happening inside me. Okay? And as long as you're tapping and breathing while all that's going on, your body's going to regulate itself. It's going to move all that stuff out of your nervous system and get you back in connection with yourself and flow your energy in the correct direction. Okay, you guys ready to start? So what we're going to do for you now is we're going to put up a little box for those of you who have the chat feature when you've logged in through that link. You're going to get to press that button and answer a survey that will ask you some questions so that I can guide you on exactly what you want to be tapping on today. And for others who may not have gotten the full login link, we had a little problem with our server today, and some people are just in viewing only mode. We've created a short link, and I will say that link, and you can open another window on your device and take the survey from that link. Okay? So, Jennifer, let's see that little message. You'll see here it says A, Core Causes Survey. Get started. Please take this survey now. So people are going to push that button. We're going to screen share it too in case you can't follow the little link and open a new tab and that's all too much. You can just watch this slowly scroll up and answer the questions quickly, either in your mind or on a piece of paper. Now, if you are already really familiar with tapping and you want to go to the next level, you can tap with one hand, breathe, and take the survey at the same time and get some energy moving that way. Okay, so let's take the survey. You're going to have about 4.5 minutes to do the survey, and it's going to be on screen share. Jennifer, do you think you could say that little link? I just remembered that we didn't speak it out loud for people.
If anyone wants to go to the Core Causes survey link, if you don't have the chat box, you can go to www.tinyurl.com/WTC Team Love. I'll repeat it once more. www.tinyurl.com WTC Team TEAM Love LOVE.
You have about 1 more minute. Remember that you can tap and breathe as you fill this out. Just a few more seconds and then please hit submit. Okay. So everyone finish up your surveys and please hit submit. All right, was that fun? I know it's kind of horrible. And now we're going to tap on it. Actually, but first we're going to look at the results so I can see what it is that you need help with. So Jennifer's going to screen share and show us the results here. And make sure your blue box, there we go. Okay, and let's make that as big as we can. So it looks like 20% of the people are working on relationship issues with people. Quite a high number on purpose. We've got an even split, 13% money, purpose, sexuality, transition, change, health, body. And going down to the next one, a lot of people reporting fear is their primary emotion. You can see exhausted, overwhelmed. And continuing to scroll down, you can see kind of what the spread is throughout the room. The negative self-talk, pretty high, 21 people are reporting not good enough. That is usually really popular, and I don't have what it takes is coming in second place. Let's see, what else? I don't want the responsibility, big favorite, permanently damaged, and a pretty even split around the rest. Okay, let's keep going. What does your culture say about this? Well, just look at this for a second. Our culture is telling us we're not acceptable when we're sick, we're not pretty. Let's tap our chests and breathe for a second while I just read this out. I'm a waste of space. Oh dear, rich people are... well, I'm not going to read that word for you. You're a deadbeat. You should be in a relationship with someone of the same race and opposite gender. What's wrong with you? Hard work is the only way it will pay off. Kind of skipping down, not supported, don't let him stop you, quit being a mooch. You can just see all this stuff. This is what's running our lives in the background. And when I ask you for some negative thoughts, this is stuff that you're going to come up with during the session, okay? All right, let's keep going. Looks like red is 13% or 22% of the people saying if their issue had a color, it would be red, and 24% saying it's black. So that gives me information. Others are just saying it's dark on how to guide you. Okay, so let's keep looking. When did this issue first start? Looks like most people are saying my whole life. It's been here the whole time. But a lot of people saying sometime between 12 and 22. Even split. A lot goes on during that early stage, and if we don't shift it, it often ends up running our lives even when we're older. So this will be really good for you. Who do you blame or hold responsible for your issue? Most people are blaming themselves, 50%, and then it looks like a split, 14% mom, 2% dad, 12% the whole family, going down to some higher former partners, society. Okay, who in your family modeled similar attitudes and feelings? Most people are reporting that their mom did and their dad. 39% say mom. Poor mom. If you're a mom, you'll do a lot of tapping and forgiving yourself for not being a perfect person the entire childhood experience with your kids. But what's great is that when mom starts to clear her patterns, it actually lifts up the whole family as well. And it's never too late to correct things that have been embedded from past generations. Okay, where do you feel this in your body? 18% are saying entire body, 12% head, and then going down 14% back, a lot of back pain, and stomach, 20%. If this issue had a texture, what would it feel like? Hopefully you're tapping your chest and breathing. Tight, heavy, thick, most popular answers. What benefit do you think you're receiving by holding on to this issue? Now, this is a tricky question. You ask yourself, why are you still holding on to this? Most people are going to say protection. 42% said protection, and the rest are punishing themselves, which I think in a way is a form of protection, saying I don't want to make that mistake again, right? Or trying to teach themselves a lesson. And here we go. The intensity of the issue on a scale from 1 to 10, most people are pretty high in the 8 to 9 category. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So hardly anyone's working on little things tonight. So that's exciting for me because I know what you're going to see at the end of this call. All right, thank you for screen sharing, Jennifer. Now we're going to get tapping. Great, here we go. So following along with me, finding the sore spots in the front of your chest, press and breathe. Good. I'm going to ask you to say some things out loud. We're going to say 2 different variations of things. One is we're going to give acknowledgement to exactly what you've been thinking, exactly what you've been feeling without glossing over or trying to make it pretty. And the other is we're going to keep adding acceptance, love, some variation of forgiveness, and attention, loving attention to it. Okay, so we're going to go back and forth. The reason why we're saying the negative things while we tap is because that routes the neural networks to exactly where that information is stored in your brain, and it brings the empathy there. It's not going to drive your pattern deeper to acknowledge it. It will actually do the opposite. Okay, here we go. Massaging the chest, big deep breath, big sigh. Repeat after me. Even though I have this issue, I want you just to say, if you have the privacy right now, what your issue is that you're working on. If you don't have privacy, I want you to think really hard what your issue is. Tap your eyebrows. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap your temples and breathe. Big sigh. Tap your cheekbones. Even though I have this issue. Say what your issue is again. Tap under the nose. And I rate the intensity at a what? What did you rate the emotional intensity at? Tap under the lips. I want you just to feel that intensity in your body for a second. Big breath, big sigh. And just accept the feeling without trying to change it. Just the intensity of this issue. Tap the chest. I don't want to feel the intensity of this issue. Big breath, big sigh. Good. Tapping the front of the rib cage. I don't want to feel the intensity of this issue. Tap the side of the ribs. It's okay for me to feel it for a moment. Big breath, big sigh. Good. Tapping the inside of the wrist. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even though I have this intense issue. And tap the upper edge of the side of your thumb. And I rate it at, and say the emotional intensity number again that you gave it. Maybe it was an 8. Big breath, big sigh. Beautiful. Tap your index finger. Even though my issue makes me feel what? What's the strongest negative feeling that you have about your issue? Can you just say that right now? I feel what? Angry? Sad? Big breath, big sigh. Tap your middle finger. I feel really, and then say your feeling again, your strong feeling. Tap the bottom of your fourth finger. I don't like feeling this way. Tap your little finger. I really don't like feeling this way. Big deep breath, big sigh. Nice. Tap the outside edge of your hand. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even if I keep feeling this way about, and then say your issue again. Tap the top of your head. I deeply and completely forgive myself. Tap the sides of your head for feeling this way. Tap the back of your head for as long as I have been. Big breath, big sigh, make some sound. Tap your eyebrows. So how long have you been feeling this way? Tap your temples. I've been feeling, and say this negative feeling again. I've been feeling afraid, or whatever your feeling is, your strong feeling. Tap your cheeks. 4. Big breath, big sigh. Tap into the nose. This feeling of, tap under the lips, say your feeling again. Big sigh. And tap your chest. Tune into that feeling again and see if you can still feel that same negative feeling that you've been working on. Tune in and see if it's still as intense as it was a few minutes ago. Tap the front of your rib cage. This feeling of, tap the side of the rib, say it again, this feeling of, and tap the inside of the wrist. I love and respect myself. Tap the side of the thumb. Even if this feeling stays here forever, and it might, just give yourself the possibility. Maybe nothing's ever going to change. Big breath, big sigh. Good. Tap your index finger. I'm still worthy of love. Tap your middle finger, even if this feeling doesn't change. Tap the bottom of your fourth finger, tuning into that same negative feeling that you've been working on. See if you can still feel it. Tap your little finger. What's happening to that negative feeling as you're thinking about it? Tune into it again. See if you can find it. Tap the side of your hand. Put in the chat window what's happening to the negative feeling that you're working on that's connected to your issue. It takes just a second for the chat to come in on my side. I'm hearing it's changing shape, it's shifting to another emotion. It doesn't feel very real anymore. Nice. Tap the top of your head. I'm open to releasing this feeling of, and say what the feeling is. I'm hearing it's going down. It's becoming more recognizable. Shifting around, getting way less. Some people are saying it's widening, smaller than it was. Tap the temples. I feel clear now. It feels more distant. That's right, because you're dissolving it. Isn't that exciting? Tap the front of your cheeks. And okay, I'm hearing it's also getting stronger for some people. That's probably because the feeling was so strong for so long that you went numb. So as the numbness is melting away, the feeling's going to intensify and then it's going to start to melt. Tap under the nose. I love and respect myself. I love watching you guys changing right before my eyes. It's so exciting. Tap under the lips. Even though I still feel this feeling, big breath. Tap your chest. It's okay. I accept this feeling right where it is. So I want you to feel, where is the feeling in your body that we're working on in regards to this issue? Where do you feel it? In your stomach, in your neck, in your back? Tap the front of your rib cage. I'm releasing this feeling from and then say where that is in your body, from my stomach, or from my shoulders, from my neck, from my head. Good. Tapping the side of the rib cage again. I'm going to keep showing you for now, but soon you'll all have it. Okay, big breath, big sigh. Good. And tapping the inside of the wrist. It's safe for me to release this. Tap the side of your thumb. Underneath this main feeling is another feeling. Tap the index finger. What's the other feeling that's underneath this feeling as this feeling is starting to clear? Now, if your feeling hasn't really started to shift, you might just want to hang out with this one for a little while longer without pushing or pulling, just continuing to give empathy to what is. Tap your middle finger. Big deep breath, big sigh. Tap the bottom of your fourth finger. This other feeling of what? Can you say what that is? Is it helplessness? Tap your little finger. I love and respect myself. And tap the side of your hand. And it's safe for me to acknowledge this other feeling. And say what that feeling is. Big sigh. Tap the top of your head. This other feeling of, say it nice and loud. Let's turbo tap this one really quickly, shall we? Let's do the eyebrows. This feeling of, and say it. Tap the temples. This feeling of. Tap your cheeks. This feeling of. Tap under the nose. Big breath, big sigh. Make some sound. Tap under the lips. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap your chest, even with this feeling of. Big deep breath, big sigh. And tap down to your sternum. And down to the front of the rib cage again. Tuning into that second feeling that you're working on. Let yourself feel it. Don't push against it. Don't pull on it. Don't judge it. Just let it be for a second while you acknowledge it and tap. Big breath. Here it is. Tap the side of the ribs. This feeling of what? Beautiful. Tap the inside of your wrist. I love and accept myself. See if you can say it. If you can't, go back to saying I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Good. Nice relaxing breath. Tap the side of your thumb. You may have noticed I switched hands, which is totally fine to do. You might want to alternate as we go, but don't get too caught up in which point. It's going to work if you just vibrate your meridians, okay? Tap your index finger. Where did you first pick up this feeling? How old were you when you started feeling this way? Big breath. Tap your middle finger. I started feeling this when I was, and just think about that for a minute. How old were you? Tap the bottom of your fourth finger. I started feeling this way when I was. Tap your little finger. I love that we have a 2-year-old tapping with us today here from Jessica. Tap the side of your hand. Even though I was so little, and this feeling was so strong. Big breath, big sigh. I'm taking care of this younger version of me. Tap the top of your head. I'm taking care of this younger version of me. And tap your eyebrows. Who felt? And tap your temples. How did you feel? Big breath, big sigh. And tap your cheeks. I forgive. Who was involved in helping you to feel this way, or even making you feel this way? Tap under the nose. And it's okay if it's not even true that it really was their fault. Who do you just secretly blame? Emotionally blame. And tap under the lips. I've been blaming, and say who that is, and maybe it's a bunch of people. Big deep breath, big sigh. Good. Tap your chest. Big breath. Take a drink of water if you've got some. It's really important to stay hydrated while we do this because it makes you more conductive down to the front of the chest. I've been blaming, say it again. And tap the front of your ribs. I've been blaming, say it one more time. Big breath. And tap the side of the ribs. I've been blaming who? And tap the inside of the wrist. I love and respect myself. And tap the side of the thumb. Even if I keep blaming, think about who you're blaming again. Decide if you want to keep blaming them till your dying day. Even if it really was their fault or your fault, do you really want to keep attacking them or yourself psychically over this? Tap your index finger. Yay, Tammy, back pain gone. Ba-boom. I love and respect myself. Tap your middle finger. I'm releasing the blame. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger just to get my energy back. Big breath, big sigh. Good. Tap your little finger. It's safe for me to do this. Tap the side of your hand. I forgive myself for holding on to the shame or the blame. I forgive myself for holding on to the shame and the blame. Big breath, big sigh. Good. Tap the top of your head. It's safe for me to release this. Tap the eyebrows, no matter how long I've been holding on to it. So now we're going to pause for a second, give yourself a deep breath, and I want you to tune into your issue again, the original issue that we've been working on, and ask yourself how strong the emotional intensity is now. You rated it at 1 number at the beginning, and now I'd like you to put in the chat box the original number you started with and where you feel it is now. So maybe it was an 8, or maybe it's down to a 5 or a 3. It's okay if it's gone up. I just want to know where you actually are. So everyone just quickly chat in those two numbers, the beginning one and where you are now. And Yulia, yes, sometimes the one you've been blaming gets the psychic email instantly, and they will want to call you or text message you as soon as they start feeling that release, so that's good. Okay, looks like we're going from a 7 to a 6, was a 7, now a 2, a 10 to an 8, a 5 to a 2. Exciting. A 5 to a 1, a 9 to a 1, an 8 to a 6. Wow, it's coming in so fast. A 10 to an 8, a 9 to a 3, 7 to a 3. Wow, super exciting. 8 to a 2, 10 to a 5. Okay. So some people it goes down and it goes up, and now it's going down again. 10 to a 7. Okay, now working on something else. Great. Okay, so if it's still high, it just means we haven't said the pieces that you need to say yet. It looks like most people are moving down pretty rapidly, and some people are still kind of hanging out close to where they started. Yay, you guys, we're halfway through. It's really fun to see you progressing so quickly. I knew it would work if we could do it together. All right, so massaging the chest. Lisa's down to a 0. Great, Lisa, that means you can pick something else you want to work on. Okay, massaging the front of your chest. Let's just start here again. The part that's really holding this together is, and I want you just to ask yourself, what is the part that's really holding it together? Sometimes it's a memory. It's a memory of a certain event or a certain series of events that were all kind of similar. So I want you just to think about what's holding it together. Big breath, big sigh. And tap the eyebrows. This part that's still holding it together for me. Tap the temples. It was so unfair. Tap the cheeks. This part that still hurts. Big breath, think about it again. Tap under your nose. This part that still hurts. Tap under the lips. So I see someone saying they're learning they're having a hard time naming their feelings. The cool thing is that as you gain an emotional vocabulary, the places in your brain will start to release that huge just web of tangled feelings. And what we're doing is we're zooming into each particular place, and when it feels your love and your acceptance, it'll melt. And naming it's a part of it. Tap your chest. The part that's still holding this together is big breath, big sigh. Tap the front of your rib cage. I want you to think about that part that's still holding it together. Tap the side of the ribs. So what did you need? What would the opposite of that part be? So if you were abandoned, maybe you needed to be supported. If you felt betrayed, maybe you needed to have someone support you or be honest with you or be there for you, to show up for you. Tap the inside of the wrist. So I want you to start thinking about what would the opposite feeling is. Okay? So now we're going to use these two pieces together. Tap the side of your thumb. The part that still really bothers me is, and what I needed was, big breath, tap your index finger. What I really needed was, big deep breath. Tap your middle finger. I love and accept myself. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. Even though The part that still bothers me is, think about it again, say what that is. And tap your little finger. And what I really needed was, and tap this side of the hand. Big, deep breath. Tap the top of the head. So I see someone saying, my issue is physical. To do this is not making sense. Well, you might be surprised at how your body responds to empathy when it's directed to a physical place in your body. So if your body is saying, my back hurts, for example, and the part that still really bothers me is it hurts to bend over and put on my shoes. And what I really need is my back to work really well and not give me any problems. So see if you can tailor it to yourself there, okay? Tap under the nose. I love and accept myself. And tap under the lips. And I'm willing to give myself the possibility of, tap your chest and say the positive thing that you'd like to be experiencing. Tap the front of the rib cage. I'm willing to give myself the possibility of, and tap the side of your ribs, and say it again. Say it like you really mean it. I'm giving myself the possibility of freedom. I'm giving myself the possibility of love. I'm giving myself the possibility of support, of forgiveness, tapping the inside of your wrist and breathing. And you can tap on either hand, okay? Tap the side of your thumb, upper edge, again. Even though part of me thinks it's too late, tap your index finger. That it can't just magically disappear because I tapped online with somebody. Tap your middle finger. I love and respect myself. Tap the bottom of your fourth finger. Big breath, big sigh. Now let's think about some of those negative things you've been telling yourself, those negative thoughts. Tap your little finger. I've been telling myself. So what's the mean thing you've been telling yourself? Tap the side of your hand. I want you guys to pay attention to your own tapping right now. Don't get too into the chat and try to counsel each other, okay? Really stay focused on your own experience. Tap the top of the head. I love and accept myself. And tap the eyebrows. Even though I've been telling myself, tap your temples. So what negative thing have you been telling yourself, or what has the culture been telling you? Tap your cheeks. Big breath. Focus on that right now. Tap into the nose. This thought, that. Say what your thought is. Tap under the lips. This negative thought. Tap the chest. I've been telling myself. Say what the thought is. Good. Tap the front of your rib cage. I deeply and completely accept myself. Tap the side of the ribs, even if I've been telling myself. And tap the inside of the wrist that big deep breath. Tap the side of the thumb. I deeply and completely forgive myself. And tap your index finger. Even though I'm used to saying this to myself again and again, say the negative thing to yourself. Say it 5 times really quickly. If it's I have no confidence, then say I have no confidence, I have no confidence, I have no confidence. Okay, whatever it is for you. Big breath, big sigh. Tap your middle finger, say it again 2 or 3 more times. Tap the bottom of your 4th finger, say it 2 more times. Tap your little finger. I love and accept myself. Tap the side of the hand. Even though I've been telling myself, I'm going to say this negative thing again. Tap the top of the head. What would the opposite of that negative thing be? If it was no confidence, it would be, I feel really confident and capable. Tap the sides of your head. Let's say the positive thing now 5 or 6 times as we tap the top of the head, all over the head. Big breath. Tap the eyebrows. Let's say the positive thing 2 or 3 more times. Tap the temples and breathe. Tap the cheeks. I'm allowing myself to come back to life. Tap into the nose. I forgive myself for being mean to myself. And tap under the lips. Where did you learn to talk to yourself that way? From who? Who maybe talked to themselves that way or thought things like that to themselves back when you were young and you were learning how to be a human from the other people around you? Tap your chest. I forgive who? Who might be involved in modeling that to you? Let's guess mom for now. Tap the front of the ribs. I forgive my mother. And if it wasn't your mother, you can say something else. While I'm saying mother, you could say father, or you could say stepmother. Tap the side of the rib cage. I love and accept myself, and I'm open to forgiving my mom. Tap the inside of the wrist. I love and respect myself. Tap the side of the thumb. And I forgive my mother. Tap your index finger. Big breath, big sigh. Make some sound. Good. Tap your middle finger. Let's have another quick check-in. Tune into your original issue that you've been working on, and if you've already zeroed it, you've got a new issue and you're working on that. I'd like to know where the issue was at the beginning of the circle and where it is now. Maybe it was a 10, maybe it's a 2. So just type that into the chat so we can see where we are, okay? Tapping the chest and breathing. Wow, really coming down. It looks like 0s and 3s. Some people are still just edging down and others are zooming. It really depends on how quickly you're willing to allow yourself to feel. And some of us feel a little more shy and timid about that, especially when there's strong feelings. And some people just want to throw themselves right in. But you go at your pace. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Yay, I'm seeing 3s and 4s. Getting itchy all over. Okay, that's your energy coming back into your body. You're not going to stay itchy for long. But just imagine that you just got plugged into the wall charger and it's going it's blowing all the dust out of your circuits. Okay? Wow, you guys, you're doing so well. All right. Yeah, the hurt is still high. Okay, tap the top of the head. Right, the pattern's being revealed. Beautiful. So now I want you to tap about what you're aware of now. Okay? So tap the eyebrows. Even though I feel, big deep breath, big sigh. I want you just to relax. Don't pull away from these deeper, intensive parts. We're not tapping superficially here. Because I actually want you to get complete with these patterns. Okay, so that we can make a beautiful world with functional people in it and that's safe and fun to play in. And we're not going to be superficial in these circles. We're going to really try to go and get underneath it. And sometimes that feels intense. Okay, tap under the nose, but you're safe, especially if you keep tapping and breathing. So tap under the lips, big deep breath, big sigh. Tap the chest. I'm really aware of feeling what? Tap the front of the ribs. I love and respect myself. Tap the side of the ribs. I really forgive myself. And tap the inside of the wrist. Even though I'm suddenly aware that, and say what it is you're suddenly aware of. Tap the side of the thumb. I deeply and completely respect myself. Tap your index finger. Even if I feel intensely what? Scared, anxious, sad, insecure? Big breath, big sigh. Tap your middle finger. I'm open to feeling loved and connected. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm open to feeling loved and connected. Tap your little finger. I deeply and completely forgive myself. Tap the side of the hand. For any part of me that still wants to hold on to this, tap the top of the head. Who would I be without this issue? Big breath. Let's really ask yourself, who would I be without this issue? Tap the eyebrows. I wouldn't recognize myself. Tap the temples. Tap the cheeks. Even if I'm resistant, tap under the nose because it scares me to move this quickly. Tap under the lips and see if that's true. It's okay if it's not. Big breath. Tap the chest. I love and respect myself. Even if I've been working on this issue for lifetimes. Tap the front of the ribs. Is it possible to actually complete and still be myself? Tap the side of the ribs. I love and respect myself. Tap the inside. Stay present. This isn't really about chatting with each other so much as it is about tapping on your own stuff. So the chat is really just to give me feedback and not for you to be like talking in class so that you're distracted. Okay? Tap the side of your thumb. I love and respect myself. Tap your index finger, even if I don't want to change this. Tap the middle finger. I don't know what it would be like to be without this. Big breath and just relax into that unknowing, melted identity. Who would I be without this? It's such a familiar space, isn't it? Tap the bottom of your fourth finger. Is it okay for me to rapidly process this now? Big sigh. Tap your little finger. Is it okay to rapidly process this now? Tap the side of your hand. I'm curious to see who I would be, even if I complete this painful experience. Tap the top of the head and breathe. Tap the eyebrows. Even if I'm secretly afraid of losing myself. Tap the temples. It's okay. Tap the cheeks. I love and respect myself. Tap under the nose. It's okay that I don't know who I would be without this. Tap under the lips. It's okay if I have superpowers I never realized I had. Big breath, big sigh. Tap your chest. Tap the front of your rib cage. I'm allowing myself to feel. What would you rather be feeling? What would the opposite of your issue be? Would it be like safe and supported, or stable and financially secure? Tap the side of the ribs. I'm open to the possibility of feeling. What would the positive be? Tap the inside of the wrist. Big deep breath. Let's say it again. Let's say it 4 or 5 times. I'm open to feeling, and then say the positive thing. Tap the side of the thumb. Let's say it again. I'm open to feeling. Tap your index finger. I'm open to feeling. I want you just to keep relaxing and saying the positive thing, even if it's bringing up the residue of this pattern, which it will, because that love will go in and start to release the remaining pattern. Tap the middle finger. If you're feeling uncomfortable, a couple of people are saying, wow, I feel kind of nauseated. I want you just to accept right now, tap and say, it's okay that I feel nauseated, and breathe. And just let yourself feel what's happening without pulling away from it. Big breath, big sigh. And tap the bottom of your fourth finger. I'm allowing myself to evolve. Tap your little finger. And to heal this, tap the side of your hand. I'm doing this for myself. Tap the top of the head. I'm learning to take good care of myself. And tap the eyebrows. I'm doing this for my family. Tap the temples, whether they deserved it or not. Tap the cheeks. I'm doing this for my ancestors. Tap under the nose. Who started this? Big breath. Send a huge wave of empathy back through space and time to wherever this pain started. Just have a little drink of water here. Tap your chest. Okay, tapping the front of the ribs. It's safe for me to do this. Tap the side of the ribs. I'm helping clean up this world. Tap the inside of the wrist. It's safe for me to do this. Tap the side of the thumb. I'm getting my energy back. Tap the index finger, and I'm releasing everyone involved. Tap the middle finger so that they can evolve and go beyond this stuck place. Big breath, big sigh. And tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm getting asked, why don't we tap the other fingers on the bottom? It's because of the way the meridians go through your hand. We're actually tapping where the electrical wire in your finger is connected. Tap your little finger. I love and respect myself. Tap the side of your hand. It's safe for me to dissolve this and to feel natural and comfortable in this area of my life. And say what area you're working on, in my body or in my relationships or in my financial life or wherever you're working. Big breath, big sigh. Great, so we're going to wrap it up. Tapping all over your body. I want you to tell yourself something loving and supportive. If you're not used to talking well to yourself, I want you to get used to it now. So how would your very best friend or your guardian angel be talking to you right now, tapping wherever you feel like you want to tap on your body? Say, I love you. I'm really proud of you. I believe in you. You're a really good person. I respect you for being brave. Thank you for being adventurous and curious. And then just let the tapping come to a natural completion. Give yourself a couple of deep breaths. And let yourself integrate what we've just done. And notice how you feel now. So I'd like to ask you for another message in the chat window. I want to know again what your number was when we started, and then where it is now, and one or two words about how you're feeling as a result of doing this. Yay. How do I memorize this script or find it? Well, it's going to be emailed to you. This whole video is going to be emailed to you in about an hour. So you don't have to memorize it. You can just play it. And we're creating an archive of these videos so that when we open up the full experience, which is a membership platform, you'll be able to look at them anytime you want and tap along with them and search them for different things that we covered. So really it's just about you learning to talk to yourself and acknowledge yourself. Feeling more centered and grounded. From an 8 to a 0, my body is vibrating. From a 7 to a 1, feeling a lot better. My wounds feel exposed. Okay, so you, my dear, if you haven't gone down significantly, you might want to contact one of these sweet people on the bottom of the screen. They're here to not only support me, but to support you and to do private sessions with you. And you can hook up a really reasonably rated private session so that you could do a one-on-one, because sometimes you just need to get really specific and you need to just do that with one person. Bless you. From an 8 to a Zen. That's nice. Diminished feelings, 8 to a 3. You are so welcome from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so Mary, you're going up. You are going to need to keep tapping and breathing because you just opened a can of worms. Let yourself cry. Don't try to make yourself stop crying. Just breathe and tap and cry for a minute. If you let yourself really feel what you need to feel for a couple of minutes, that huge wave of tears and grief will move through you, especially if you can just name it as like, I'm grieving, I'm still really sad. Okay, so anyone who's sort of in the middle of the stream, even if you don't get a private session from one of these people, I want you just to keep breathing and tapping. And you might want to do this link when it comes in the next hour to do it again, or do it again in the morning. So we will save that survey data, Rachel. And I am so grateful. Infinite love back to you, Crystal. So we are just a minute away from completing. I want to thank you so much. We'll send you an email with links to get a private session with Finn and Jana and Maya, so that you'll have their information and their schedules and you can connect with them about that. Yay! It's been a wonderful experience for me too. Thank you again so much. And I'm so impressed that we have had so many people from all over the planet. I'll ask you to please email your friends and give them the link. It's on Facebook. You've got an email. You've got the information. We're doing this for 3 more weeks, and the next one is next Monday. But please share this. Let's get as many people as possible moving their stuff through them and get this world turned into paradise. Okay? If you want more information, there's tapping scripts. I have some audio CDs on my website specifically for love and relationships, specifically for money. You can download the MP3 and listen to it tonight. Go through the products. They're made to serve you and support you. And there's lots of blogs, and I've got a newsletter with some beautiful articles that just came out, and some video blogs that will be coming out once a week. They're little mini taps to help keep you going on specific subjects. All right, sweethearts, it is 90 minutes, so we're going to honor the agreements. Love you. Thank you. My website is sonyasophia.us, SONYASOPHIA.us, and there's a link to the World Tapping Circle from there too, if you ever just want to access it from there. All right, blessings. I see you next week.